All right, hello. Good morning. Okay, usually when I make these videos, I have at least a little bit of an idea of what I'm going to talk about. And I do know what I want to talk about, but I'm going to just kind of go freeform with this one, more so than usual. Because I want to talk about the idea of fear, and something I learned very recently about fear. And I'm going to start with a story. So it's a quick story time, but it takes place at Phil's. So if you're from Waterloo, I swear it's worth it. So Phil's, for those of you who don't know, is a club here at the University of Waterloo, and it is like the rattiest, darkest, most disgusting club you can imagine. But we went there for my friend Zulfgar's 21st birthday. Happy birthday, Zulfgar. You know, as I'm telling this story, I'm realizing that I will at some point in my life definitely get clowned for this, but... So here's a little bit of background. Here's the thing. All my life, I've really liked women. Like, since I was a kid, I've always had crushes and stuff, but I've loved talking to them and that whole like pursuit. I've just enjoyed it. But the truth of the matter is, I don't know if this is true for all young guys. I'm sure there are guys who don't feel like this, but you know what? Hell, I do. Inside somewhere, I'm like absolutely terrified of approaching a woman. Petrified. Now, I think I'm pretty good at hiding it, or at least pretending I'm smooth. And I think I can be smooth right up until the moment that I realize I'm gonna go like ask someone to either dance or to go out with me. Like that moment, I am so terrified. But the thing is, so like, the thing about me and fear though is I'm not a big fan of fear. If you've known me growing up, like I don't like the feeling of fear. I don't like not being able to do something. My whole life is predicated on this idea that I can do anything. Like, there's nothing that I'm not capable of doing. So when it comes to something that I feel afraid of, when I was younger, my reaction would be to turn around and run. But then my brother instilled this idea in me when I was a lot younger, that if you're scared of something, you have to turn around and face it. And that, you know, he kind of kept me up. But then as I got older, you know, I think Marcus Aurelius says it best in Meditations. He said, you know, a man cannot be held erect by others, he has to hold himself erect. And so now it's kind of this thing where I'm trying to actively pursue my fears. And I've talked about that in an old video. So what happened at Phil's? We were at Phil's, and we were all dancing. We were doing our thing, get money. And I saw this woman, and she was beautiful. And, you know, I was like, I would really love to dance with her. And that was about it. I saw her, and I was like, I'd love to dance with her. And I proceeded to just do nothing, and it killed me. It bothered me so much that I didn't have the courage to pursue that. And, you know, the night was going on, and it was eating at me more and more and more, right? It became not even about her, and it became not even about dancing. It wasn't about that. It became about this fear that I was up against that was stopping me. And I remember I was standing there, and I for like an hour I couldn't enjoy it because it was in my head. I was like, dude, after everything, you're still afraid. And that was so weird to me, because I just assumed that, you know, as you get older and as you date more women or you talk to them or anything in life, as you are more exposed to something, you become less scared. But that's not true at all, is what I realized. And it got to a point of the night where I was like, dude, you know, Sid, you know how this pans out if you don't move forward. Why don't you try something different and go do something and go try? Because worst case scenario, she'll say no. And I don't know if it's a fear of rejection or if it's a fear of making a fool of yourself. I don't think it's a fear of making a fool of yourself, because, you know, I make YouTube videos and I talk about stories that I probably shouldn't. But it's some sort of fear that I haven't put my finger on. And so I stopped thinking about it. I just went up to her, I looked her in the eyes and I was like, hey, can I dance with you? And she proceeded to say no because she had a boyfriend. But that wasn't the point. The point was, I felt so good after doing that. And the reason is, and I felt like freed after doing it. And here's what I learned. What I learned is, in life, you don't get less scared. You just get more brave. And it was this amazing weight off my shoulders, because for the first time in my life, I felt like I no longer had to be afraid of pursuing women. Which, you know, it's a localized example. I don't think it's really women in this case, or the important thing isn't that, you know, for me, it is this fear of approaching girls. Because what I realized was, I can be whoever I decide to be. And this links into the video about time, because in the video about time I talked about how, you know, you aren't this image that you have of some future version of yourself, right? Which we, I think, all buy into. We buy into this idea that, you know, in 4 years I'll be an engineer, I'll do this. But it's like, that doesn't exist. That whole manner of thinking is predicated on this currency that you don't have. All you have is right here and right now. And the decisions you make today are informative to who you are. And it goes both ways. If you made bad decisions, just like, it's like, damn, you don't have to get in the slump of, I'm a terrible person. It's like, no, you made mistakes, you made bad decisions, but it's who you are in this moment. What do you do now when I'm talking to you in this camera, when I'm breathing? Like, what do I do? In these moments, those define your character. So for me, it was this massive unlocking when I had this, that when I kind of, you know, found the courage to go talk to this girl, because it was about acting in a manner, it was like doing what the person I wish I was would do, right? And it freed me in so many ways. And since then, I felt this kind of, this resurgence of, I don't know, this courage, this lack of fear, I guess. Actually, that's not true. It's not a lack of fear, though, right? I just feel more courageous. And it was like a testosterone hit, like a dopamine hit. And after that, I just felt so much better. I could enjoy the night. I felt so much better about myself. And so the thing is, you know, I don't like fear. I really don't. But what I'm learning is that the only way to approach fear is that you have to turn around and face it and attack it in whatever domain it is you're facing. If it is, you know, if you're scared of interviews, you just have to interview. You have to be willing to make a fool of yourself. And that's the thing. The underlying lesson for me was that the only way to attack fear is to accept the role of the fool or the jester. Because unless you're comfortable with not just failing, but failing miserably, I don't think you develop the courage, at least I don't develop the courage to pursue the thing that's important to me. You know, and even with these YouTube videos, this is, you know, when I released this first YouTube video, I was like puking type of nervous. And I don't get nervous very easily, but I was very, very nervous. And it was because I wasn't yet ready to put on the role of the jester. Like, I don't know who's gonna watch this and see me in the halls one day and be like, hey dude, I watched that video, you whack, you're scared of girls. Not that I think anyone will do that. And if you are gonna do that, but the idea is that, you know, it's that fear has this sort of prevalent, it's like this bug, like this virus in my life and in this society. And it holds us back from experiencing the most beautiful things in the world. And I think one of the most beautiful things in the world is becoming someone you want to be. So yeah, you know, this video is probably, oh look at that video run on 10 minutes. So I'll cut it there, but you know, first, if you do enjoy these videos, if you like the production value of these videos, please let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna have to do it now. I'm sorry, I'm a YouTube guy, I gotta say it.